Port Charles had known chaos before, but what was coming would fracture the Falconeri and Quatermain families in ways no one expected. The air around the city felt thick, something unresolved, something broken, something waiting to explode. And at the center of the growing storm were two men who shared blood but no longer shared trust, Dante Falconeri and his cousin Gio Palmieri. Gio, young, talented, sensitive, and loyal to the bone, had always admired Dante. To him, Dante was everything a Falconeri man should be: honorable, protective, righteous. He'd grown up hearing stories about the detective who risked his life to take down mobsters, kidnappers, rogue agents, and even his own father when duty demanded it. But things change. Heroes stumble. And Gio had watched Dante stumble again, and again, and again. The first time, Gio forgave him. The second time, he tried to understand him. The third time, he began to question everything. And the fourth time? That was when the unforgivable happened. But that story begins long before the betrayal. It started with something small. Trivial, even. At least, that's how Dante had justified it. Gio had been working late nights at the Quatermain mansion on a composition for the PCU arts program. His future depended on it, and Brooklyn had been helping him polish it. He had shown it to Dante a week before the audition. Dante, exhausted from a triple shift, distracted by a case, had barely listened. But instead of admitting it, he lied. "It's great, Gio. You're solid. Don't stress." It wasn't that Dante didn't believe in him, he did. But the lie cost Gio everything. On the day of the audition, Gio learned his composition had structural errors. The judges had seen passion but poor execution. He wasn't accepted. When he found out Dante had never actually reviewed the piece, something cracked. It wasn't about the music. It was the betrayal of trust. And although Gio tried to hide how much it hurt, Brooklyn saw it in his eyes, and Olivia heard it in his voice. Dante brushed it off as a misunderstanding. But Gio never forgot. The second time wasn't small. The second time, Dante chose the badge over blood. A smuggling ring had begun operating through the Port Charles docks. Commissioner Jordan Ashford had assigned Dante to the case. The deeper he dug, the more he realized the mess wasn't just tied to criminals. It touched the Quatermains. Not Michael. Not Ned. But Tracy. Tracy, driven by her usual hunger for control, had made a disastrous business alliance that allowed contraband to pass unnoticed in exchange for a temporary financial cushion while ELQ recovered from a failed merger. She hadn't known the full extent of it, but the law didn't care. Dante's duty was clear. His family ties were messy. Gio, new to the Q mansion but fiercely protective of the people who took him in, begged Dante to find another way. To talk to Tracy privately. To let the family handle it internally. Dante refused. The law is the law, Gio. His actions triggered a full investigation. Reporters swarmed the mansion. ELQ stocks plummeted. Tracy nearly had a stroke from stress. Brooklyn cried for 2 days. Gio's anger was ice cold. Family comes first, Dante. Always. But I guess that doesn't apply to you. Dante regretted it. But not enough to take it back. This was the mistake that changed everything. Sonny Corinthos had been spiraling again. His bipolar episodes had returned with a vengeance. His medication had been tampered with, later blamed on a pharmacy error, though no one believed it. Dante saw the signs long before anyone else. He should have told his family. He should have warned Sonny's children. He should have spoken up. But instead, Dante made a choice that came from love and fear. He decided to protect Sonny's privacy. He told no one. Not Carly. Not Michael. Not Christina. Not Nina. Not even Gio, who had grown close to Sonny and saw him as a mentor. The result? One night, in a manic haze, Sonny confronted a young man he misidentified as a threat on the pier. That young man was Gio. Sonny didn't hurt him. But the confrontation was frightening, disorienting, and nearly explosive. Gio froze under the weight of Sonny's rage and confusion. Dante arrived just in time. Gio later learned Sonny had been off his medication for weeks. "You knew. And you said nothing." Dante tried to explain. "Gio, he's my father. And I'm your family too." That wound cut deepest. And yet, Dante still believed he had done the right thing. This was the one no one could defend. This was the one that broke Gio entirely. And it began with a phone call. A young witness in a high-profile corruption case was attacked near Charles Street. Dante thought Gio was connected, Not as a suspect, but as someone who might know something. Gio had befriended a few of the teens in the area through his music group at the youth center. Dante needed answers fast, and the department was breathing down his neck. But instead of asking, instead of trusting, instead of treating Gio like family, Dante had him brought in for questioning. Not privately, not quietly, but in full view of the Quartermaines. In front of Brooklyn. Handcuffed. Humiliated. Gio was innocent, of course. He hadn't even known there was a crime. Dante realized his mistake within an hour and released him immediately, but the damage was irreversible. Quartermaine fury exploded. Brooklyn slapped Dante across the face. Lois told him he was no longer welcome in their home. Olivia cried until she trembled. Sonny was speechless. And Gio? Gio looked at Dante with something far worse than anger. Disappointment. You think I'm capable of hurting someone? After everything? After all the times I defended you to everyone? You think that of me? Dante tried to apologize. Gio walked away. And he didn't look back. The fallout spread fast. Olivia sided with Gio. Dante moved out tempora. Rocco blamed himself, thinking the family tension was connected to his own issues at school. Lulu's absence, still in recovery, made everything worse. Dante felt the weight of single parenthood pressing harder than ever. Tracy wanted Dante suspended. Brooklyn demanded it. Lois screamed for it. Michael quietly agreed. Only Ned tried to remain neutral. He blamed himself for the earlier incident on the pier. His guilt triggered another wave of emotional instability. For the first time in months, he wondered if he should step down from his life entirely. But the worst part? Dante blamed himself too, but didn't know how to fix it. Gio had always been the softest of the Falconeries. Sensitive. Open-hearted. Forgiving. But now? He began to change. He buried himself in music, composing day and night. He spent hours at the Quartermaine boathouse or in the ELQ studio. He pushed away anyone who mentioned Dante's name. Brooklyn watched him quietly, trying to help, trying to protect him, trying to understand the depth of his betrayal. One night, she found him crying silently while writing lyrics. Blood ties are chains when trust is broken. Family is a fire that burns the chosen. Forgiveness is a door I won't reopen. Not for him. Not again. Brooklyn held him while he cried. But even she couldn't reach the parts of him that had gone cold. Dante wasn't perfect. He never claimed to be. But for the first time, he felt like he had truly lost everything. His badge felt heavy. His apartment felt empty. Every corner of Port Charles reminded him of his mistakes. He tried to apologize again. Gio refused a meeting. Brooklyn blocked his number. Olivia wouldn't speak to him for days. And the department? Jordan issued a formal reprimand. Internal Affairs opened an inquiry, standard procedure but humiliating nonetheless. Dante wondered if he should resign. He wondered if he deserved to. It happened in Rice Plaza. Cold rain. Harsh wind. 2 cousins. 1 broken bond. Gio had been performing with a small acoustic group. After the show, Dante approached him hesitantly. Gio saw him. And froze. Gio, please. Let me talk. You've said enough. I'm sorry. Gio's laugh was bitter. You're sorry now? After you humiliated me? After you treated me like a criminal? After you kept Sonny's condition from me? After you tore apart my entire life because you can't separate your badge from your family? Dante swallowed hard. I was scared. I was overwhelmed. I made mistakes. No, Dante. You made choices. Gio's voice cracked. And every single choice told me I can't trust you. Those words destroyed Dante. Rain streaked down Gio's face, tears or weather, no one could tell. I loved you like a brother, Gio whispered. And you broke something you can't fix. Dante tried to speak. Gio turned and walked away again. But this time, he whispered one last sentence over his shoulder. I will never forgive you. And Dante felt the final thread snap. Just when the feud reached its peak, something happened that none of them expected. A new threat emerged in Port Charles, one tied to the smuggling ring Dante had been investigating months earlier. Only this time, the criminals had a target. He had unknowingly witnessed something months ago, something he didn't even realize was important. And now, someone wanted him silenced. On the night it happened, the last person he wanted to see was the first person who came running. Dante. Gun drawn. Heart pounding. Terror flooding his veins. Because Gio wasn't just family. He was the one person Dante couldn't lose. Not again. Not after everything. Not like this. Gio. Get down. The screen faded to black. Sirens. Gunshots. Shouting. And Port Charles waited to see whether the shot that rang out would destroy the family forever, or give them one more chance to heal.